and I'm excited that our energy is up. Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for a show-stopping moment in this event. The next speaker I'd like to introduce is an individual who doesn't know the meaning of the word fear. He approaches each day, each interaction, each and every moment with courage. But it didn't start that way. He didn't start out with such a strong conviction, with such self-worth, with such bravery. He went on a journey that most of us would never choose to go on. And he came out the other side, a changed individual who is now living his absolute fullest life. This gentleman is an entrepreneur who faced rejection early on in his career, but he channeled that experience into authoring his best-selling book, Rejection Proof: How I Beat Rejection and Fear and Became Invincible Through 100 Days of Rejection. He's also known for one of the most viewed TED Talks of all time. That's right, of all time, where he talked about his journey through 100 days of rejection. And he's also the CEO of Dare Me, a leading overcoming rejection training company. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeunesse family, for the next hour, I want you to set aside every distraction. I want you to laser focus in and soak up every life lesson of our Expo 2021 Ignite Kickoff keynote speaker. Put your hands together and help me welcome a huge Jeunesse family welcome. I'm talking like an 11 like we did. Put your hands together and help me welcome to the Expo stage, overcoming rejection expert and best-selling author, Jia Zhong.
What a great crowd. What great energy. I should talk to Sean every day. Man, he just pumped me up. So, well, let's talk about rejection. All right. How many of you like rejection? Raise your hand. Anyone? A couple people, okay. Weirdos. Let's start with a better question. How many of you like gifts? Raise your hand. I hope all of you. Better be all of you. I love gifts. I love getting gifts. I love giving gifts. Mostly getting gifts. But when I was growing up, I didn't like gifts that much. Why? Well, I grew up in Beijing, China. Wait, where are my Chinese folks at? Anyone? All right, there we go. So I grew up in Beijing, China. I had a pretty good childhood. But one day, my first grade teacher came up with this brilliant idea. Brilliant. That she wanted us to not only get gifts, but also learn to compliment each other at the same time. So she had all of us come to the front of the classroom. There were 40 of us, and she bought us holiday gifts and stacked them in the corner. She said, hey, why don't everyone say something nice about someone else? If you hear your name called by someone else, you can go pick up a gift and sit down. What a great idea, right? What could go wrong? When it started, it was great. Every time I heard someone else's name was called, whether it's a good student or someone can sing really well, I'll be like, yay, when it's my turn. Then there were 20 people left and 10 left. At the end, there were only 3 kids left. That's where the compliments stopped. And guess what? I was one of them. I mean, at that moment, I didn't want gifts anymore. I didn't want compliments anymore. I just want to sit down. I really have no idea why no one would say anything nice about me. I thought that was cool. I thought I was a popular kid. Then I saw the 2 kids standing next to me. I knew otherwise because I hated those 2 kids. And the teacher was freaking out. She was like, oh my God, will anyone say anything nice about these people? No? All right, why don't you just go grab a gift and sit down? You guys behave better next year so someone will say something nice about you. You know, as I'm describing this, this happened to me yesterday, right? Ever since that day, I would just rather die than be in that situation again, getting rejected in public. But I don't know who felt worse that day, was it me or the teacher? She probably realized that her team building event turned into this roast of 3 6-year-olds. Without the humor. When you get roasted, it's supposed to be funny. There's just nothing funny about that day. So that was me when I was 6-year-old. Fast forward 8 years, when I was 14, I'm gonna upgrade. Think about when I was 6, it's a version 1.0 of Jia. When I was 14, it's version 2.0. And I'm gonna upgrade by this guy. Do you know who he is? Anyone? There you go, Bill Gates. All right. He's in the news a lot nowadays. I don't know why. But back then, he was really cool. He came to China to promote Windows 95. I'm kind of dating myself. I heard him speak. I love that guy. I just love that guy. I loved everything about him. This idea of using technology to change the world and his entrepreneurial story. So that night, I wrote a letter to my family telling them, hey, don't worry about your son. I got my life figured out. By age 25, I'll build the biggest company in the world, and I'll buy Microsoft. And I'm really embracing this idea of dominating the world from this guy. I didn't make this up. I did write that letter. My family kept the letter for me all those years, and they sent it to me when I was 30. They were like, have you done this? So this was the letter looks like. By the way, some of you might be able to read this. It's really bad handwriting in Chinese. It's a beautiful language, but I have a bad handwriting. But I did highlight some keywords for you so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, all right, thanks. Yeah, you can take it down. I don't want people to read it. But in that letter, I also mentioned someday I want to go to the United States to fulfill that dream, because that's where Bill Gates lived. That's where the land of opportunities. I want to beat him on his home turf. I even picked out a city to go to. I said, I want to go to Houston someday. Is anyone from Houston by any chance? Oh, you are? Okay. I didn't know why I said Houston. The word just sounded good in Chinese, and also they won the NBA championship that year. So I was a fan since. So 2 years later, I had a chance to come to the US. I was a culture exchange student. Does anyone know what a culture exchange student is? You do? Okay, all right. So someone from a foreign country come to your house, stay for a year, they eat with you. They could be good, could be annoying. It depends on your luck. I was one of those. But when I came, I didn't go to Houston. I didn't go to LA, New York, Las Vegas. I went to rural Louisiana. Anyone from rural Louisiana? No? All right, gonna make fun of it. So, there's one person. Okay, I'll be nice. It's a very small town. If you type in Simpson, Louisiana in Google Map or Google Earth, you just see all green. You just have to zoom in and zoom in. At the end, you'll see a couple rows. That's Simpson. There are more cows than people in that town. I'm from Beijing. It's a town of 15 million. This is different American dream than I thought. But I said, it's okay. I'm gonna start small. And someday someone will write a book about me, like this great immigrant entrepreneur, starting small. Okay? That was when I was 16. And fast forward another 14 years. One day I woke up, I was 30. Nope, I didn't build the biggest company in the world. I didn't even start. What did I do? I did well for myself. I went to school, I found a job, I made money. I went to better school, found a better job, made more money. I bought a dog, bought a car, bought a house, got married. Kind of fulfilled everything in this picture, the American dream. No, it's not my house. But you get the idea. It's a great dream. It's a dream a lot of people want to have. But it's not my dream. Where was a kid who wrote that letter? He wanted to change the world. He wanted to impact people. And even at work, I felt stuck. I felt I wasn't progressing. I was like, what happened to me? So looking back, I say, turned out every time I wanted to do something, I wanted to take a risk. I wanted to step out. Even at work, I want to have a new proposal. I want to sell my ideas. I want to speak in front of people. every time when I did that, there was this constant battle between the 6-year-old and the 14-year-old. One wanted to change the world. Another was afraid of rejection. And guess what? Every time that 6-year-old won. So when I was 30, I just heard the news from my wife that we're gonna have a baby. Yay. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love babies. You know, I'm pro babies. I'll recommend them to all of you, you know, when the timing is right. But the thing is, when you become a father, this chance of you becoming this world-changing entrepreneur goes way down. Your priorities changed, your responsibilities changed. So I felt I probably missed my boat. So I talked to my wife. I was like, hey, you know, maybe I'll be a good family man. I'll be very responsible. Maybe someday my kids can go after their dreams. So when I said that, my wife, Tracy, she was like, hey, when I first met you at school, all you talked about were your business ideas. You want to be this great entrepreneur. You want to just do things on your own. I want to have that guy back. If you want to be an entrepreneur, why don't you just go out and do it? Start your company. Quit your job. I mean, you don't have to do it forever. How about you do it for 6 months? And then we can set up some goals. If you can achieve those goals by the end of 6 months, you keep going. Otherwise, you can look for a job again. It's not that complicated. You know, there are many times in my life I felt I married up. You know, this is one of them. So this was the day my son was born in Austin, Texas. That's where I used to live. And 4 days before that, I quit my job. So this is me turning my badge to my manager. I asked her to take a picture of me. As you can see, she wasn't happy. This is a terrible picture. She was like, sure, there you go. So when I was walking out of that mammoth office building one last time, part of me felt great. You know, life and liberty and personal happiness. I can finally go after my dreams. The other half, I felt scared. I felt naked. Because before, I had all kinds of excuses of not going after my dreams, of not trying my hardest. You know, I have a kid on the way, I have a mortgage to pay, I got a family, I have a good job. But now, there are no more excuses. The only person standing between me and success was myself. So I better get going. So I formed a team of 4 engineers. We're building this mobile app. We're prototyping. We were finding customers. We're marketing it. We're having a great time. But 4 months into my venture, it got real. Why? Because a local investor showed interest in my company. I really thought, well, let's wait up a little bit. The story gets better later. I really thought he was gonna invest. I really did, like you did. And I even dreamed about this 5 different times. In those dreams, I was like, wow. You know, and I would get the call from the investor. I would try to play it cool on the phone. Then I hung up the phone, hugged my wife, and called my parents, and then I woke up. It sucks. You have to wake up from the same dream over and over again. But there was dreams and there was reality. The reality is, one day, I was at a restaurant celebrating a friend's birthday. And just people were singing and just happiness all around me. Then my phone vibrated. I was like, oh, okay. I saw this email from the investor. I'm like, wow. So I clicked open. But before that, I was trying to channel good energy into this, you know, hopefully something good. Then I clicked open, it was a one-liner. It said, nope, we're not doing this. At that moment, I had to just stand up and walk out so people wouldn't see me crying in front of them. I didn't know why I was hurt. I thought, hey, I was ready for this. You know, I'm tough. I'm well-educated. I'm smart. I got a good team. But at that moment, the 6-year-old was standing on my shoulder again, just whispering to my ears. He was like, hey, who do you think you are? You want to be an entrepreneur? That's for the geniuses, like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. You are just wannabe. You should quit now before you embarrass yourself more. So that night, I had a talk with my wife. I was like, well, maybe this is a real sign from above. That I had a lot of fun. I gave this a shot, but, you know, this guy knows business. This guy is a lot smarter than me. If he doesn't invest, he knows more than me, right? That must mean this idea is bad. I should quit now and look for a job so we can get the income flowing again. You know, when I said that, I was just looking for a hug. You know, I was looking for some sympathy. What I got was rage. My wife, she was like this pissed off quarterback. You know, when the offensive lineman gave up a sack, she would just grab my face mask and she said, "Hey, I give you 6 months. I didn't give you 4. Keep going and don't leave any regret." That's where it dawned on me. Would Bill Gates want to give up after rejection like that? Would anyone successful at anything want to give up after rejection like that? No way. I can keep going. I can keep doing this and build a better team, a better product. But one thing for sure, I gotta be a better person. I gotta be a better leader. I have to solve that rejection problem. I gotta put that 6-year-old back to his place so he wouldn't talk to me like this again and again. So what did I do? I searched online. You know, Google's my friend. So I searched, how do you overcome my fear of rejection? First of all, I saw a bunch of articles written by like sales gurus and you know, these rah-rah articles just screaming into my face. They were like, "Hey, don't take rejection personally, just move on, overcome it." I'm like, who doesn't know this? Then I saw a bunch of articles written by psychologists and telling me, "Hey, where's your fear and pain coming from?" No, they weren't that helpful either. Then I saw a website that was interesting. It's called rejectiontherapy.com. Okay. For those who don't know, rejection therapy is a game. It's a game invented by this Canadian entrepreneur, and he's got some real rejection issues. That's why he came up with this deck of cards. It's a deck of 30 cards, and each card will give you a suggestion to get rejected at something. The idea is, if you're afraid of rejection, instead of running away, why don't you just go look for rejection? If you do it once per day, by the end of 30 days, you'll be able to desensitize yourself from the pain. You become this badass. I'm like, this is the best idea I've ever heard. You know, I want to be a badass. I want to be the baddest ass of them all. So I said, I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to do this for 30 days. I'm going to do this for 100 days. I want to overdose on rejection. I want to see what happens. Oh, also, when I'm doing this, I want to film it. I want to put this on YouTube. I'll make a video blog out of this thing. If I do this by myself, I'll probably quit pretty easily. But if I share this with the world will hold me accountable. Others will hold me accountable. So that's what I did. And this was what the website looked like then. So you can see, rejection 1, borrow $100 from a stranger. Okay. One day, I came downstairs. I mean, my office is downtown Austin at the time. So one day I came downstairs. Before going home, I said, I better do this. I'm going to ask someone. Who do I ask? Who do I ask? Okay, I saw a person in the lobby. He was a big guy. He looked like a security guard. I'm like, I'm going to ask him. It's my target. I can do this. Yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I can do this. Yeah. I was just pumping myself. Yeah, I can do this. I just started walking toward him. Yeah. Then halfway through, I slowed down. My heart started to pound. I started to sweat all over me. The hair at the back of my neck stood up. When I got there, I was a mess. I was like, "Sir, can I borrow $100 from you?" He looked up. He was like, "No." Why? I said, "No, sorry. No, bye." I just turned around and ran as fast as I could. I was so embarrassed. But the thing about doing a video blog is, whatever experience, you got to experience at least twice. That night, I was uploading the video to YouTube, and I have to edit the video, right? First, I was like this sports scout. I was looking at myself like this game film, you know, frame by frame to see what happened there. First of all, I saw myself. I looked like this kid from the movie Sixth Sense. You know, Bruce Willis movie, you know, I saw dead people. I was so scared. My face was pale, and I was just, then I saw this guy, right? He was a big guy, and he said no to me, but he wasn't like mean. He wasn't like a menacing figure. He didn't cuss me out. He didn't have a pepper spray. He didn't have a club. He didn't call the police. All he did was to say no. He asked me why. In fact, he was asking me to explain myself. I could have said many things at that moment. I could have said, well, I'm trying to overcome my fear of rejection here. Or I could have said, I'm trying to have some fun. If you can't do 100, can you do 50? 25? $5. You can do $5, can't you? I could have said all those things. But what did I say in reality? I said just 4 words. No, sorry, no, bye. I'm like, wow, this is like the microcosm of my life. Because every time I got the slightest rejection, I would just run as fast as I could, because I was scared, because I don't like the feeling of being rejected. So I said, okay, tomorrow, no matter what happens, after I get rejected, I'm gonna stay engaged. I'm gonna negotiate. I'm not gonna run. I wanna see what happens. So, rejection 2, request a burger refill. Okay. One day, I had this very juicy cheeseburger for lunch. It was really good. And afterward, I went and talked to the front desk person. I said, hey, can I get a burger refill? He was confused. He was like, what do you mean, burger refill? I said, just like a free drink refill, but with a burger instead. It's like, sorry, we don't do burger refill, man. That's where the rejection happened. But guess what? This time I didn't run. I stayed engaged. I said, hey, I love your burger. It is so good. If you give me a burger refill, I'll come back here every day for the next week. I'll tell everyone about it. It's not bad for free marketing, right? It's word of mouth marketing. He was like, yeah, it's a good idea, but sorry, can't do it. I can't give out free food. If I do it, I'll get in trouble with my manager. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't want to get in trouble. So that's where I left. And guess what? I wasn't scared anymore. It was still very awkward, but I didn't see dead people at that moment. So 2 days into this, I learned something important. If I don't run after rejection, I don't have to feel too bad. Then as I kept doing this, strange things started to happen, like really weird things. People started to say yes to me, one after another. For example, one day, I had this soccer ball in my hand. I went knock on someone's door. That guy opened the door. He's also a big guy. He's got this giant Texas flag on his t-shirt. If you're from Texas, you know people do that there. So I said, sir, can I play soccer in your backyard? So he looked at me. Soccer in my backyard? Then he saw me and I was serious because I got a soccer ball, I got a shin guards, I got a cleats all decked out. He was like, I guess so. Come on in. And I was like, now what? How do I play soccer with myself in the backyard? I didn't think this part through. So I just went in, I did a little bit dribbling. I had him take a picture of me. I did a pose, a Heisman pose, I didn't know why. But before leaving, I said, how can you say yes to me? He was like, dude, this is so off the wall, how can I say no? I'm like, okay. Then there's another day, I was driving down the highway. I saw a police car next to me. I waved at him, he waved back. I'm like, no, can you stop? So I pulled him over. I said, officer, can I drive your car? By the way, I don't want to get in trouble. I'm not going to drive it away. I just want to give it a spin. You know, I want to listen to a radio. I want to feel like police officer. I always wonder what it's like to be a police officer. And he was like, I've never heard this before. Sure, why not? So I drove a police car that day. In the front, not in the back. You know, there was a difference. Then there's another day, I just got a bunch of yeses in a row. Man, I got frustrated. I'm like, this is rejection therapy, not acceptance therapy. I got get rejected somehow today. What is one thing that no one's going to say yes to me, ever? How about if I try to fly someone's plane? By the way, I have no idea how to fly a plane. I don't have the knowledge or courage, license. I just want to get rejected that day. So I went to this airfield in Austin, and I saw this pilot-looking guy in the lobby. I said, sir, do you have a plane? He's like, yes, I do. I said, can I fly it? He's like, do you know how to fly? I'm like, nah. It's like, yeah, it's fine. I'll teach you how to fly. You want to do it now? I'm like, why? What's going on? As it turned out, he didn't own a commercial jetliner, like a Boeing or something. He owned a gyroplane, okay? For those who don't know, a gyroplane is like a miniature helicopter or like a motorcycle in the air type of thing. So this is a rich hobbyist. He just bought a new gyroplane. He wanted to show everyone in the world how awesome his gyroplane is. So he taught me how to fly. It was amazing. I'll tell you more about it later. By the way, if you go to my YouTube channel, you're going to see the video evidence of all of this. They're all pretty fun. But speaking of video, I got to show you one video. It really talks about this idea of looking for rejection but not getting it. And here it is. Oh, that's not right video. You get rejected by videos sometimes. I do feel unlucky. So can you go to the back? Can you get my video? That's a very nice lady to explain this. If not,
Driving to Krispy Kreme.
oh, there we go.
I'm going to, well, I know, I just got my haircut yesterday. I look like a Viet Cong from the 1960s. It's okay. I'm going to grow into it, or my hair is going to grow into me, either way. I'm driving toward Krispy Kreme. I'm going to ask them to make me some specialized donuts. And we'll see what happens.
What kind of specialized donuts are you talking about?
I like to have getting a, you link the 5 donuts together, make them look like Olympic symbols.
Oh. And when are you looking to these?
Huh?
When?
The next 15 minutes?
How did they lengthen this year?
Just normal color is fine.
You want them linked?
Yeah.
I don't know if we can do that. I got it. It's like I didn't even pay attention to the Olympics this year.
No, just you got the 5 donuts together, look like a Olympic
Like-
symbol.
Was it this way this year?
Something like that. That would work. Just link any 5 donuts together. It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna take me longer
How long?
because I've got to catch them on the other side, and then they've got to get through the proofer and then drop through the fryer. It was the red, blue, green, yellow. What's the other color?
Red, green, yellow, blue, maybe white?
Was it white?
Could be.
That sounds right. Oh my gosh, I haven't watched the Olympics in so long that I may not be able to link them, but I can maybe make them look like they're interlinked.
Okay. That would be great.
Because the only thing I'm worried about is if I try to put those through the proofer, they will unsettle the
Okay.
trays and they'll end up falling. And then once they hit the fryer, you've got a divider, and if they hit that, they're going to get stuck. You know what I'm saying?
If you can make that, you're gonna make my day.
What is it? It's red, yellow, green, blue, white, right?
Yep.
Let me see what I can do.
Okay.
Try, but what do you think?
Wow. That is really good. That is really good. Yeah.
I mean, that's the best I could do with what we've got.
No, it's good. It's good. It's more than I thought it would be done. So great. All right. So Jackie?
Yes.
All right, I'm a fan. Thank you.
You're way too kind.
No, you're
way too kind.
you're really good. All right, so do I pay there?
Don't even worry about that one's on me.
Are you serious?
Ditto. Ditto.
You serious?
Very. Extremely.
Wow.
Extremely. That's my pleasure.
All right, Jackie, I'll take it. But man, you make me really happy today. All right, thank you.
Very
All
well.
right, see you. Give me a hug. Okay. All right, thank you. See you.
You're welcome.
Wasn't that awesome? So these were the donuts. We have them for dessert that night. It's very sweet. There's a lot of sugar in there. But the whole experience felt even sweeter. When I was walking out of the donut shop, I just had tears in my eyes because I couldn't believe the customer service or human kindness that you saw in that video. And apparently the world couldn't believe that either. After I put this video on YouTube, you went to the front page of Yahoo, Reddit, Time of India, Daily Mail of UK. You went around the globe. You got over 5 million views. In fact, Krispy Kreme stock actually went up after this video. It's like a marketer's dream, right? And because of this video, I started getting emails from people from all over the world. People sharing stories. I mean, some of them are telling me, give me driving tips, please don't film yourself while driving. I appreciated that. There are a lot of people who are talking about this woman, how awesome she was. She's truly awesome. Her name is Jackie. She's from New York. But most people are talking about me. They're like, dude, what are you doing? Looking for rejection. It's so awesome. It's so inspiring. I'm like, I'm just looking for rejection. So I thought I was the only person afraid of rejection, or maybe me and a few other people. As it turned out, everyone's afraid of rejection. And they're living their fears through my eyes. It's very therapeutic for people. And then people start sharing stories with me, crazy stories. There's an artist, she made art that was just beautiful and profound, but she didn't share it with anyone. But then she saw this video, she was like, hey, those donuts are nice, but I'm a real artist. If I can make that video go viral, why am I afraid of sharing my art? So she did. She started sharing with her family members and friends and local media. It got picked up by national media. She was invited by the White House to give a show in Washington, D.C. It changed her life. Then there's another guy, his name is Mark. Mark said when he saw this video, he was actually in a very dark place. He just got divorced, and he was contemplating suicide. And he's in the sales business, and then he saw this video. He's like, I'm gonna do this. I need to pull myself out of this funk. So he did his own 100 days of rejection, but with sales. Every day he would try to sell something to someone. And he would do this in his personal lives as well. And guess what? Through this, he found the love of his life. And also, he quadrupled his business. A few years later, he got married. He invited me to go to his wedding. It's an amazing story. And this is all these type of stories. There are people who started new businesses. There are 2 people who started very popular podcasts because they saw this video. I was like, wow, what is this? This is really important. If I can get to the bottom of this, help people overcome their fear of rejection, I can make some real impacts in this world. So I spent the rest 100 days and even subsequent years learning how to overcome the fear of rejection. I read up everything possible on negotiation, body language, And I even did my own research. I used myself as a guinea pig, put myself in front of strangers, I keep talking to them and asking them for things. And without lying, if I lie, it'd be too easy. But I want to stay authentic to see how I can get people to say yes to me without lying. And that's what I did. And I even gave a TED Talk on this subject. It was the #3 most viewed TED Talk of that year. I think it was behind Elon Musk and the Pope or something. Sometimes you're just not as cool as someone else. What can you do? And throughout the years, I discovered a lot of secrets. I found a lot of truth. So I'm going to share some of them with you. First of all, what is rejection? What is the thing that we're so afraid of? But if you overcome that fear, you can make some real impacts in your own lives and in other people's lives. As it turned out, rejection is just a numbers game. It's a numbers game. In these 100 days, I could ask something absurd. Someone would say yes to me. Or I could ask something pretty moderate, pretty reasonable. Someone would say no to me. But one thing for sure, if I want to get a yes, I just go talk to enough people. Someone will say yes to me at the end. It's almost as if there's a number associated with every rejection. You go through enough no's, it becomes a yes. Speaking of number, do we have any Harry Potter fans here by any chance? All right, okay, yeah, we got a few people. I love Harry Potter. I read all the books. And you should too. Harry Potter is the best-selling book series in modern history. And you would think a book that good, when it first came out, all the publishers on earth would fight among themselves trying to publish the book, right? Nope, that wasn't the case. The author, her name is J.K. Rowling, she had to go through 12 rejections to get her book published. Every rejection sounded similar. What, trying to write a children's book? There are people dying in the book? It's about dark magic? The book is this big? Come on, try something new, get a real job. It's on the 13th try, she also got rejected, but the chairman of the publisher gave the manuscript to his granddaughter, who would not put it down. She just kept reading and reading until she finished it and exhausted herself. That's where it dawned on them. Maybe we should try this. So they published the first ever Harry Potter book under very low expectations. And the rest was history. Okay, think about it. If it took J.K. Rowling's 12 rejections to get Harry Potter published, how many rejections do we have to go through to get ourselves published, to get our product published, to get our business published? Rejection is just a numbers game. You go through enough no's, it becomes a yes. Then rejection is an opinion. It's an opinion. I think we need many things in this world. We need more love and sympathy, understanding, courage, definitely more bathrooms and free drinks. But one thing we have plenty of is opinion. If you don't believe me, just get on the internet. Go to Facebook, open your WeChat, and turn on your TV. Everyone has something to say about something. And they can't wait to tell you about how they feel about something. Opinion is like the cheapest resource on earth. It's completely renewable too. But rejection is nothing more than an opinion and preference of the rejecter. That's just more about the rejected than the rejected. In these 100 days, I could ask the same question to 10 different people. Someone will say yes. Someone will say no. Someone will smile at me and give me a high five. Someone just couldn't wait to get away from me faster. I was the same person, making the same request. It says everything about that person's state of mind, or what happened to him or her the night before, or maybe it's a lifelong of understanding, needs, prejudice, education, who knows? It has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with that person. But when it comes to rejection, we think it's all about us, because we're the centers of our own universe. We're the heroes of our own movies. That's why we take every rejection so personal. Every rejection felt like an indictment of who we are. And every acceptance felt like a confirmation of our merit. It's not. It's just an opinion. Lastly, rejection is the source of knowledge. Source of knowledge. So I wrote this book, Rejection Proof, a few years ago. It actually became the #1 bestseller on Audible, like the audio version. I don't know why. People like my voice or something. I wrote this book not because I just want to write a book. It was because I learned so much in these 100 days. I went to a pretty good business school. I thought I learned a lot about business in those 2 years. As it turned out, I learned a lot about PowerPoints and spreadsheets. In these 100 days, though, I learned more about business than I did at business school. Why? Well, because I put myself in front of real people, getting real rejections. And I learned so much. And I'm going to share a couple learnings with you. First of all, what do you do when people say no to you? What do you do? Most people do one of two things: fight or flight. Okay. When I say fight, it doesn't mean start fist fighting. It means you get disappointed. It means you feel the pain. If it's someone close to you, you feel indignant. You're like, hey, of all the people who reject me, how can you say no to me? So you start arguing. But when you argue, that's not a good response. Because when you're arguing, your emotions and their emotions will get involved. Your opinions would actually get more entrenched. When was the last time you can change people's mind by shouting at them? It doesn't happen. So fight is not a good response. The other one is flight, which means when you hear no, you just say, thank you very much. You just leave. That's even worse. Because when you're running away, not only you're changing anyone's mind, you're also at the mercy of your own judgment. You can lose confidence that way. I found a third way, which is I want to stay engaged and find out why. Okay? I can ask why. Like, why is like the magic word. Because when someone is rejecting you, it doesn't mean they hate you. It doesn't mean they don't like you. It means sometimes there are some underlying reasons. If you can demonstrating that you're helping them to get to the bottom of this, you can possibly turn no into a yes. For example, one day I had this flower in my hand, and I went and knocked on someone's door. The guy opened the door. He was the older guy, and I said, "Sir, can I plant this flower in your backyard?" I don't know why I like people's backyard that much. You know, it's like my playground or something. He said, "Oh, this is more interesting than I thought, but no, can't let you do this." But before he turned around and leave, I said, "Man, know why?" He was like, "Well, I have a dog that would dig up stuff I put in the backyard, and I like what you're doing. In fact, if you want to do this, why did you go talk to Connie? She's my neighbor. She loves flowers." I got so excited because I just got a referral. So when I went across the street and knocked on Connie's door, and she was so happy to see me. Half an hour later, there's this flower in Connie's backyard. I mean, I hope it looks better nowadays. This is a few years ago. But the thing is, had I just left at the initial rejection, I would have thought so many reasons. Maybe I didn't dress well. Maybe I didn't speak clearly. Maybe the guy didn't like me. Maybe he didn't trust me. As it turned out, none of that was the reason. He liked me enough to offer me that referral, which I converted. It was what I was offering did not fit his needs. So again and again, I learned that if I just don't run after rejection, I give myself a shot to turn no into a yes. There's another thing. So, okay, I just mentioned that you can ask why. The other thing you can do is you can ask for something else. Ask for something else. Ask for something less, not more. Okay? Ask for something. For example, one day I went to a hotel in Austin, like the best hotel, like kind of like this one. I went to a hotel in Austin. I went and talked to the front desk lady, and I said, "Ma'am, this is what she looks like. As you can see, she's a nice person." I said, "Ma'am, can I have a free night here?" And she was like, "Oh, sorry, we don't do that now." At the back of my mind, I was like, when do you do it? You know, that sounds like a great promotion. I'll come for that. But I didn't say that. I was like, "Oh, that's fine. If you can, if I can have a free night, can I take a nap in one of your rooms? I'm gonna try out your mattress." She said, "Sure." So she sent a bellman with me to go on one of their suites. I took a nap on one of their mattresses. It's very comfortable. It was awesome. But the thing is, had I just come in and asked straight to take a nap in one of her rooms, she might have thought I was crazy. I mean, she might still thought I was crazy. But she said yes because I asked for something big. I got rejected. I asked for ask for this. In fact, there's pretty strong academic study on this, that if you make a really big request, you get rejected, you make a secondary, more reasonable request, the chance of you getting a yes on that second request is actually a lot higher than if you just ask for the second request straight without the first one. Why? Well, we think rejection is a failure. We didn't get what we wanted, right? But sometimes we forget, rejection is also a moment of opportunity. When people are saying no to you, they feel a little bit bad. They feel a little bit indebted to you. That's where if you ask for something else, the more chances not they're gonna say yes, because you're demonstrating you're negotiating, you're compromising. And people want to return in kind. So next time you're trying to sell something, you're trying to make a pitch, and they say no, instead of just say, oh, okay, thank you very much, you just leave, you say, can we talk again? Can you reconsider this? Can you talk to people around you? Or can I send you some more information? Can we talk again in a week? The chance of you people saying yes to a request like that is actually really high. And guess what? You just give yourself another shot. So just remember, always ask for something else. By the way, I can keep going and going. And in my book, I wrote about 16 different ways to turn no into yes, and how you get more yes. How do you ask questions to get more yeses, and how do you say no to people? That's actually one thing we're pretty bad at, is to say no to other people. But there are ways to do that with not only you're not hurting people's feelings and relationships, you can actually make the other person a fan of you. But because of time, I do want to leave you with the most important lesson I learned 100 days of rejection. The most important lesson, just 2 words, just ask. Just ask. Remember I mentioned I flew someone's plane? That was the best flying experience in my life. When I think about flying, it's all about me going to the airports a couple hours early. I take out my belts and make sure my pants don't drop, and then I'll go through that cancer-inducing bone scanner. That's my flying experience. But that day, I had none of that. I flew like a bird. It was amazing. For a minute, I was only a couple feet above the cornfield. I feel I was this seagull looking for fish above the ocean. The next minute, I was like 1,000 feet in the air. There was a cloud around me. I was touching it. I was kissing it. I felt I was this eagle. But all this time, I just kept asking myself the same question over and over again. Wow, what if I didn't ask? What if I didn't ask? Not only I would not have this great flying experience, I would not have this, I wouldn't know this could exist. What if we don't ask for things in lives? Companies might not be built, or they might not be quit prematurely. Maybe art might not be shared, or maybe business opportunities might be lost. The reason we don't ask is we think rejection is terrible. It's terrifying. So by us avoiding negative, we're achieving that positive, right? That's just a lie. It's a lie we keep telling ourselves every day. Because when you're not getting out there and getting rejected, you're just rejecting yourself by default. And do you know who our worst rejecter is? Ourselves. So no matter what, if someone's gonna reject you, let the world reject you. Don't ever reject yourself. Lastly, gifts. Gifts. Rejection used to be this bogeyman, this monster that haunted me my whole life. So much so that I spent the first part of my life running away from it. But as soon as I stopped running, rejection became my biggest gift in life. Because now I get to go to some of the best companies in the world, go to some of the best universities in the world to teach people how to become rejection-proof. I even built a consulting business, I built a coaching business to help others, individuals or organizations, help them to become rejection-proof. I want to hear people's stories. In fact, I bought something for you. So this is my personal text message. I'm leaving this to you. You can text me anything you want. But if you text me a rejection resilience assessment, so I built a test for you guys, a resilience test for you. So you know where you can get an assessment to know where you stand in terms of, you ask you a series of questions to see how resilient you are toward rejection. It's going to give you a score to see where you stand in the spectrum. In fact, based on our research, how resilient you are with rejection, you can actually, if you can increase your score, you can have a huge jump in your income. So text me your email and name and the word ignite so I know who you are. But whether that's my book or my talk, or it's my either it's coaching or my test, I just want to create a world where we're not afraid of rejections anymore. I want to see how many lives can be changed, how many cool ideas can be realized, how many love stories can be written. So I'm inviting all of you into this world. The next time when you're trying to do something, make a sale, take a risk, okay, face people's judgment and possible rejections, opinions, remember these stories. It's going to help. Or if you or your team members, your loved ones, your colleagues who are afraid of rejection, share these stories with them. It's going to help. And if it doesn't help, just buy them a box of donuts. It's a great sign of leadership. Donuts always help. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you for my story. Thank you. Thank you, guys. You guys have been great. Thank you.